57-year-old cashier found dead in Bengaluru. The family cries foul, says the bank employee was upset over his name being dragged into money laundering. One day to go before the central government's self-set deadline on demonetization ends, and Magic Bricks now gets ground reports from across the country. Are we really just a day away from Achhe Din? And Maharashtra state government may play party pooper this new year. Event management companies, residential societies, bars and hotel associations concerned over the possible implementation of liquor ban near highways. And in Mumbai, activists and citizens are up in arms as civic authorities mull an interim policy on maintaining open spaces in the city, under which private organizations will once again gain control over the city's limited open spaces. Hello and welcome. You are watching The Big Story here on Magic Bricks Now. I'm Krishna Kumar. It's a big setback for the citizens of Mumbai. Civic body BMC, in an unexpected move, is now planning an interim policy on maintaining open spaces in the city. This means that private organizations, non-government organizations and citizen groups will once again get a chance to maintain the 216 plots taken back from them after Maharashtra's Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis ordered a review of this policy. My colleague Disha Shah gets us this report. Listen in.
The Improvement Committee in the BMC on Thursday has passed the interim open space policy, a policy which basically talks about handing over 216 open plots to the private players for maintenance purposes. Of course, an important thing to remember here is that the BMC Commissioner Ajoy Mehta was very firm that this policy won't get passed unless and until the BMC takes back all the 216 open spaces, but that of course clearly has not happened till date. What we understand from the Improvement Committee's chairman is that only 168 plots have been taken back by the BMC and the remaining number of plots are still with the private players. However, this decision of passing the interim open space policy has not gone quite well with the opposition parties, that's the MNS, Congress and NCP. They say that BMC should maintain these open plots because they have a budget of 43,000 crore rupees to maintain, and of course citizens and NGOs have also been fighting really hard, and also even they say the same thing, that BMC only should take care and maintain, but nothing of this sort has happened by passing of this interim open space policy. And lastly, what we understand is that this policy will need another approval, and that's from the general body, where 224 corporators will have to pass it. So it remains to be seen whether this policy gets its final nod or not. This is Disha Shah for Magic Bricks Now.
Mumbai's open spaces is indeed the big story, and to take it forward, we do have Mr. Surendra Srivastava, an activist, joining us here in our Magic Bricks Now studios in Mumbai. Mr. Srivastava, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us over here. I have one very simple question to start this with. Does the BMC have enough money and the abilities to maintain open spaces, or does it need to be given to private players?
Well, frankly speaking, as we stand today, it's a setback, and it's a very disappointment for the citizen of Mumbai. BMC collects taxes for providing a lot of amenities to citizens, and one of the amenities is open spaces and maintenance of open spaces. I can't understand how BMC can really pass on this responsibility to the private people who misuse these open spaces for their personal gains. And that has been history, and there is a huge trust deficit between the government and the citizen. And I think trust deficit needs to be bridge the gap before all these kind of policies in place.
Mr. Srivastava, one is that, as Disha was telling us, there's about several thousand crore rupees of money with the BMC to maintain, to allocate part of that to maintaining open spaces in the city. And the other is, does the BMC have the ability, the expertise to maintain open spaces? Because let's face it, the way they exist so far, we're not happy with that as well, are we?
Well, whether they are ability or not, they are supposed to have ability. Otherwise, why they exist? So the point is that if they don't have ability, better be prepared. You are elected, you are nominated, or you are appointed there to perform. And if you don't perform, get out. Let us have a better BMC and better people to come in.
And that's a good time to say that, Mr. Srivastava, because we are counting down to the BMC elections here at Magic Bricks now as well. We've been doing reports from different wards in Mumbai and, from open spaces policy perspective, even as we count down to a brand new set of people, hopefully, to take over BMC in a matter of a few months' time from now, from open spaces policy point of view, what do you think people campaigning now should be telling the people? Because clearly, as you say, there is no trust. There is a serious trust deficit. Even if right now it's the Shiv Sena which runs the BMC as a political party, it might come back to power. It might you might have some other party coming to power. But at the end of the day, corporators who are running for elections for the BMC, what do you think that they need to do at this point in time, specifically when it comes to open spaces?
Well, frankly speaking, they will give all kinds of lollipops.
Yes.
But that does not satisfy us. The history says that there is a trust deficit, and I think action speaks more than the talk. So what they have done in the last 10 years, Shiv Sena and BJP together in BMC, is the track record to be seen. And I don't expect, even despite of whatever long or short promises they gave, in future nothing will change.
That's right, but there is a responsibility for Mumbaikars to go out there and vote. To all the Mumbaikars who are going to vote for the BMC elections, what do you have to tell them, keeping in mind the way open spaces are to be managed?
Frankly speaking, we must register our protest. Now, the best way to register the protest, although it is undemocratic to some extent, we believe, but time has come when nota must be used to send a clear signal to people that so many set of people, a significant percentage of people do not believe in this kind of politics which is being played for the last so many years in Mumbai.
All right, Mr. Srivastava, please stay with us, because we're now being joined on the phone line by Shaina NC of the BJP. Shaina NC, thank you so much, as always, for taking time out to be with us here on Magic Bricks. Now, this open spaces policy, yes, there is one more level of approval left, but it has come as a shock to both citizens and activists at this point in time.
See, at the outset, let me please say that Mumbai is undoubtedly the most congested city in the country, but it could have been very different even in the past. So it's not as if this is some overnight magic solution that can come up. For a city that is already choking, boxed with its buildings, and more way than one, I think it's possibly only going to get worse unless we contain the situation, and that is exactly what our government is aiming at. Of the 4,596 acres of land which have been reserved for parks, gardens, schools, libraries, I think it's important to bifurcate and understand that there are libraries, parking lots that could have gone back or will go back to original owners. But the Mumbai municipality has made it amply clear that the priority is to conserve as many open spaces in public interest. It is also important to understand that under the Maharashtra Regional Town Planning Act, as activists have been alleging all kinds of delays in deliberations, it's important to understand that we have to make sure that the municipality is not in the hand of a few builders, and most of the reserve lands have been, allotted on a basis that will be open to public from every segment of society. So I think you need to understand this reference to perspective without forming a judgment on a long pending problem which has a very limited solution.
In fact, Shaina NC, please stay on the phone line, because we do have Mr. Surendra Srivastava, an activist over here, and he wants to ask you a question. Mr. Srivastava, please go ahead.
Well, I want to know, BMC itself says that per person you require 4.4 square kilometer open spaces, whereas we have only 1.28 today. Even in the development plan, the provision is made only for 3,525 square meters, whereas the requirement is 5,116. So the provision itself is a short. So how we are going to cope up with that? Is there a plan? Government must have some plan for bridging the gap.
May I respond?
Yes. Please go ahead, ma'am.
See, I have been extremely honest with you at the outset on your debate itself. I said that every year we have to ensure that the land that is available to the Mumbaikar is not acquired. Now, when we talk about even the rates being so high, we talk about urban planning, there is a problem that real estate prices in Mumbai are very high. And given that, we have to give an assurance to our citizens that the land which is yet to be acquired will be reserved in the next development plan. And that is exactly what our Chief Minister has been working towards. When Devendra Fadnavis opposed said that the BP needs to change and we're looking for recommendations, I think it was a move that a lot of people welcomed. And this is not a question about a delay, it is a question about a vicious circle. The open spaces which could have been acquired by the municipality much cheaper 20 years ago are now worth crores. And it is making it so difficult for the richest municipality to buy them. So it is an opportunity which is totally lost. And for a congested city where the only agenda is to conserve every space of openness in this 4,596 acres of land, I think it's important to collectively fight, have citizens like Mr. Srivastava and others also join this movement, but let's understand that we are in a real catch-22 because Mumbai is the most congested city in the country. And we can only make it different if we try to conserve every square inch of land that is possible for parks, for gardens, for schools, for libraries, and where we are able to collectively have the civil society work in collusion with the administration and the political class.
Well, Shana, I have a little bit difference of opinion here, From the existing open spaces available, 60% of the open spaces are not available for usage by the people. They are encroached, they are privately held, they don't allow others to come in, and I think that's one significant problem before citizens. Number two, even in your DP plan 2034, the provision is made only 3,525 hectares compared to requirement of 5,116 hectares. There is a huge gap even in the DP plan. So what is the government's thinking in terms of bridging this gap?
All right. Mr. Srivastava, in fact, we also have Ms. Rita Gupta of the MNS joining us on the phone line over here. Ms. Rita Gupta, we're just discussing this latest move, which is set to hand over public spaces, open spaces to private players for maintenance. I want to understand, as the MNS, which is thickly involved in bringing corporators to the BMC, can the BMC maintain open spaces on its own in the city of Mumbai or not?
BMC, I don't think they can do it on their own, but I would like to say wherever there were empty places, many of the private people have already encroached the places. What we think is the places which are empty should be given to the area people where the people stay for gardens, for children to play, or for walking tracks and all. But what we have seen is wherever there is spaces, they have the private people, the people in government or the corporation people, Shiv Sena, BJP, whatever it is, they have really internally given up that places. What I feel. And we all fight for it because the people of this Mumbai, the citizens, they need the places. That there are no parks, there are no places for children. So that thing should be there.
All right, Mr. Rita Gupta, one last comment in from Mr. Srivastava before we wrap it up. Mr. Srivastava, please go ahead.
Well, I agree to MNS spokesperson. 60% of open spaces have been encroached upon. There is already a gap of open spaces between requirement and what is available. There is going to be a widened gap in 2034. I think government needs to come out very honestly and openly that how much gap can be bridged. And secondly, if the BMC has been elected and appointed to maintain the open spaces, I think they cannot shift the
responsibility to private organizations who are already encroaching open spaces here in the city of Mumbai. And with that, I'm going to thank Shaina NC, Mr. Srivastava and Ms. Rita Gupta for taking time out to be with us here on The Big Story on Magic Bricks Now. In fact, we here at Magic Bricks Now spoke to Mr. Prakash Gangadhar, chairman of the BMC Improvement Committee. Listen to what he had to say.
सालों साल से एक गार्डन मैदान की पॉलिसी रुकी है, वो मेन पॉलिसी एडॉप्शन की दत्तक पॉलिसी आ रही है, तब तक ये आज की पॉलिसी जो है 11 महीने के लिए संस्थाओं को देने के लिए मंजूर हुई है। उसमें खाली एक ही बात है कि हमने उसमें कहा भी बांधकाम नहीं करना चाहिए। जिस संस्था को ये गार्डन मैदान का प्लॉट मिले वो किसी तरह को देना नहीं चाहिए। इसमें कमर्शियलाइज व्यापारीकरण नहीं होगा। और चौथा कि सबको उसको यहाँ आने की सहूलत होगी फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट।
तो मतलब आपका ये कहना है कि ये 11 मंथ का जो आपने पॉलिसी इंटरिम पॉलिसी है वो आप प्राइवेट प्लेयर्स और एनजीओज दोनों को देंगे कि सिर्फ प्राइवेट प्लेयर्स को देंगे?
जो संस्था उसके लिए इस पॉलिसी में हमने अतिरिक्त आयुक्त कुछ अधिकारी और हमने एक उपसूचना दी है कि उसमें इम्प्रूवमेंट कमेटी का चेयरमैन, गार्डन उद्यान का चेयरमैन, ऐसी कमेटी बने। वो संस्था को देखेंगे, उसका इंटरव्यू होगा, उसको देखेंगे वो सक्षम है कि नहीं, कर सकती है कि नहीं, उसका सभी लोगों से उसका अच्छा संबंध है कि नहीं। तो ऐसी संस्थाओं को हम देने के लिए कमेटी बनी है।
Now it is time for hashtag BMC 2017, sleepy suburban belt that now houses spanky high-rise buildings. This northern section of Mumbai is also home to Mumbai's only green lung, the Sanjay Gandhi National Park. In our special series, Mumbai Kar Vote, today we're talking about Mumbai's R Central Ward, which has key constituencies like Borivali, Charkop and Kandivali. With the run-up to the BMC elections, what are the issues on ground in this particular ward? Take a look at this special report.
Congested and poorly maintained roads. Open spaces are fast turning into dumping grounds. Illegal structures on public property. High rises and ambitious infrastructure projects. Mumbai's Borivali East, which once used to be a sleepy suburban belt, is soon changing the city's skyline. Home to the SL world, the northern section of the city has its own problems to deal with. Look at the chaotic Borivali station, which caters to scores of people every day.
ये जो बोरीवली ईस्ट है वो आज तक सुधरा नहीं है। इधर इतना कंजेस्टेड है, एक बाजू रिक्शा, एक बाजू बस, बीएसटी बसेस। जो बीएसटी बसेस जो आती है तो आदमी लोग को चलना आना बहुत भारी पड़ रहा है कि कैसे जावे हम लोग। मिनिस्टर लोग आते हैं, बोले हम लोग को वोट दो, हम लोग ये करेंगे, ये रोड बड़ा बनाएंगे। आज तक बड़ा नहीं बनाया।
सफाई में आप देखेंगे कि ये लोग ने क्लीन मार्शल लगाए हैं, बराबर है। तो उनका फर्ज क्या बनता है कि पहले वो सुविधा उपलब्ध कराए, फिर उसके बाद क्लीन मार्शल को बिठाए।
This is one of the biggest pain points of Borivali West. Right outside the railway station, you will see hawkers sitting on both sides of the roads, congested roads, BST buses and autos turning here, making it extremely difficult for residents of this locality. When we spoke to residents, of course, they tell us that they have to deal with this every day. It's chaotic during peak hours, and that there is lack of political will when it comes to fixing this problem. But the local corporators say that despite raising enough alarms, BMC officials have completely ignored the problem. The blame game continues.
हम बार बार महापालिका के अधिकारियों को बोलते हैं, हमने कितने दफ़े राइटिंग में कंप्लेन किए हैं, हमने आवाज़ उठाई है कि हम लोग करोड़ों रुपए खर्चे करके हम लोग फुटपाथ बनाते हैं। आज ट्रैफिक की इतनी समस्या है, जो हमारे सीनियर सिटीज़न हैं, हमारे छोटे बच्चे स्कूल में जाने वाले हैं, हमारी प्रेग्नेंट महिलाएं हैं, उनके लिए आज फुटपाथ नहीं है।
While traffic bottlenecks and hawkers continue to be a menace, residents of Chikuwadi, however, have a bigger problem. Their grouse, open spaces turning into dumping grounds. What used to be called suburb of Gardens, Borivali West, is soon changing into very few open spaces, and of the few remaining open spaces here in Borivali West, several of them are not maintained well. This is one such open space in ward number 17, which has now been turned into a dumping ground. Residents of the locality complain that it is ignored and completely abandoned.
Actually, we are one of the very fortunate localities where we have sufficient open spaces. However, due to some negligences and improper upkeep, the grounds are not well maintained, and one of the grounds has become a dumping ground where all the litter has been stored, and very recently there was a fire in that plot. So due to this, it causes nuisance not just to the adjacent societies but also creates a lot of mosquitoes in the area. The dumping has caused a lot of nuisance to us.
In my view, this our political system has totally failed. All political parties, they are hand in glove. You scratch my back, I scratch your back. This is the funda behind that. Common people, they are guinea pigs. They are being used because politicians come to us for two things, and they are in our life for two things, what I understand. One is note, another is vote.
With the upcoming election, the electoral map of the ward may have been redrawn, but like always, corporators have come up with a fresh set of promises.
जो SRA के प्रोजेक्ट अभी तक रखड़े हैं, वो SRA के प्रोजेक्ट कंप्लीट करके झुग्गी बस्ती में रहने वाले लोगों को घर में पहुंचाना है। दूसरा कि मैडम, आज हमारा जो रेडी रेकनर है, वो रेडी रेकनर महाराष्ट्र में सबसे ज़्यादा मुंबई में ही है। तो रेडी रेकनर और हमारा जो टैक्स है, वो टैक्स कॉमन पब्लिक के लिए टैक्स बढ़ाना नहीं चाहिए, मैं सोचती हूँ। महापालिका फुटपाथ क्लियर रखे, और मुंबई की सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम क्या है तो पार्किंग।
With a total of 10 wards in the constituency, 3 of them have been reserved only for women candidates. Even as the city of Mumbai gears up for the mega election, residents hope for some action on ground than mere lip service. Amitabh Balachandra for Magic Bricks Now.
They run your city.
Unsuccessful to solve our hawkers problem.
The present corporator, I've never seen him.
They spend your money.
Give me my footpath. Give me my footpath.
नल, पानी, बाथरूम, ये सब तो आवे।
जो सुविधा चाहिए म्युनिसिपैलिटी की तरफ से, वो सुविधा म्युनिसिपैलिटी की तरफ से नहीं होता है।
Make them accountable for it.
There are several problems, several issues.
What they just want is their elected representatives to deliver the basic things.
Mumbai Kar Vote. #BMC 2017. Only on Magic Bricks Now. Now, the Maharashtra state government may play party pooper this new year. The state government is mulling a ban on serving alcohol in places close to state highways. In fact, the Maharashtra government has asked the excise department to not issue any one-day temporary permit to people who want to organize liquor parties on the New Year's Eve. This comes after the Supreme Court's decision to ban sale of liquor along highways. We have my colleague Amitabh Balachandra getting us more details in this report. Listen in.
The state of Maharashtra has decided to revoke all licenses of bars and liquor shops operating within 500 meters of highways, starting the 1st of April following the Supreme Court order. When we spoke to the association Ahar, which has about 8,000 bars and restaurants under its wing, they told us that they will be looking at legal recourse to tackle this issue, and that if this were to go through, their business would be down 70 to 80%. But in a surprise move, the excise department, of course, has now said that they will be banning one-day parties on highways this new year. Ahar, of course, tells us that this may be a New Year's spoil sport, but the bigger jolt has come from the Supreme Court that all of the licenses of bars and liquor shops within 500 meters of highways will be revoked. This is Amitabh Balachandra for Magic Bricks Now.
Our decline in business could be around 70% to what it is now. Establishment doing lack of business will be down by 70% business, because today liquor does play a very important role in our kind of business. And drinking is a socially acceptable thing now. So people, whenever they are out with families also, So it is a part of leisure that people enjoy when they come out with their families. So it definitely will make a major impact in our business proposition, and we are only hoping against hope that it wouldn't happen.
Okay. What is the legal point of view you're going to take on this over the next couple of days, if you could just tell me?
We are in the process. See, the issue is that because the Supreme Court is now on vacation, so the major Supreme Court, major councils are not in India. They are on vacation. We are hopeful that they will be back by the 4th, and once they come back, we will take legal opinions from them, and how they guide us, according to that guidances, we will take opinions and we'll move forward. But we also can't do much. Probably the excise also can't do much, because if they issue a license, it's going to be something like it accounts to contempt of court, and probably that is why contempt of Supreme Court, they wouldn't want to get into that. So probably that is one of the reasons why events and grounds are not being given one-day licenses.
According to the Supreme Court, of course, this has been done because there have been a lot of accidents on the highways. What are your comments?
Accidents do happen, I will not deny that, but there are no specific, they don't have specific reasons saying it, drinking driving is the major reason for accidents. And through our sources, we have also found out the negligence is also a major reason. And it's not fair to say that could be the only reason. Like in states of Gujarat which are dry also, you have accidents happening. So it's not fair to blame all accidents on drink and driving. I'm in favor of getting very stringent laws against that.
And with that, it's a wrap here on this edition of The Big Story on Magic Bricks Now. Thank you so much for watching. This is Krishna Kumar signing off.
You can watch live TV on our website mpnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/magicbricksnow. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at Magic Bricks Now. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/magicbricksnow.